Well, good morning. Welcome to February, the month of love, and all that good stuff. We're going to be talking about love this month. So I get to take a few minutes, kind of set the stage for the month, talk about love, steal all the good quotes. I left some. I left some for you. But I am going to go because, interestingly enough, if you look back in the index of the Science of Mind by Ernest Holmes, founder of Centers for Spiritual Living and all that, there's only a couple of references to love in the Science of Mind text, specifically, which is interesting because it plays such a big role in our lives. So let's go with this. Page 43 in the Science of Mind. Love rules through law. Ernest writes this. In an intelligent study of the teachings of the science of mind, we come to understand that all is love and yet all is law. Love rules through law. Love is the divine givingness. Love is the way. Love is spontaneous. Law is impersonal. We should study the nature of reality with this in mind, and in this way we shall avoid two grave mistakes, either viewing life as made up of only mechanical laws, or viewing it as made up only of spontaneous actions, irrespective of law and order. As we gain the broader viewpoint, we shall see that life must contain two fundamental characteristics. We shall see that there is an infinite spirit operating through an infinite and immutable law. In this, cosmos, and not chaos, finds an eternal existence in reality. Love points the way, and law makes the way possible. So I'll be coming back to that as we go through the talk today. Love is so much. We have lots of different kinds of love. We have love songs. We have love poems. We have love lost, love found, love on the TV, love in the movies. We have love in greeting cards. We have familial love. We have romantic love. We have unconditional love. We have conditional love. We have transactional love. But if it's transactional love, is it really love? We have a lot of questions about love. And we have a lot of people who think they know a lot about love. Isn't that interesting? So beyond the kinds of love that I've mentioned here, any contributions from the audience, from the group? What else? What other kinds of love can you think of? Anybody? Don't be shy. Puppy love. I like that. I was listening to a podcast the other day, and they were talking about they were talking about new relationship energy, right? We have that big, fuzzy, new relationship energy, excitement kind of love, puppy love. And then after about 12, 18 months rolls around, you've got, if that relationship has lasted, right, you've got established relationship love, which they described as kind of like, warm, fuzzy socks snuggling by a fire. The kind of comfortable relationship love where there is that absolute sense of trust and knowing, where we're comfortable, but not too comfortable. So there's that kind of love. And as I mentioned kind of in the description for the workshop in a couple of weeks, and I invite all of you to come join us for that. We're going to have some fun. And we're going to learn some stuff. But the indigenous peoples of North America talk about all my relations. Often hear that reference, all my relations. In their practice and in their teaching and all of that. It's all about connection. And we're not here on the planet by ourselves. We are here with each other, doing things with each other. And sure, we have our time by ourselves, and sure, we have our time in the silence, and we have our time when we're learning and growing, and certainly we experience this life all inside of ourselves. And in the midst of all of that, it's about our connections to people. And as we will learn about in the book of the month, Love Unveiled, it's about our connection to divine life. I'm going to have a quote here from the first chapter. He writes, "To love means to fly heavenward, which means spiritual development and growth. Flying heavenward happens through rending the veils. And that rending is the process of love." And in this book, he talks frequently about rending the veils, about stripping away these ideas that separate us from our awareness, our connection to the divine, to what he calls the beloved, and what Rumi calls the beloved. The beloved being that infinite spirit, we call it God, call it whatever we want to call it, spirit, source. It is love itself. Ernest Holmes goes on to define love as the self-givingness of spirit through the desire of life to express itself in terms of creation. Love is a cosmic force whose sweep is irresistible. And I know that we come back to that again and again and again in our teaching. We probably talk more about love and its influence and its, what's the word? Its desire for expression more than anything else. I think for me, and for many of us, love is what moves us forward. The desire for expression, the desire for experience, the desire for care and comfort. And it's not as if we are creating anything new. We may be creating a new experience for ourselves by stripping aside, by rending the veil, as he writes, by letting go of doubt, letting go of fear, letting go of insecurity, letting go of these thoughts that say, man, I'm just not enough. I'm not good enough. I'm not handsome enough. I'm not attractive enough. I'm not funny enough. I'm not entertaining. I'm not da 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 da. What else, right? How many stories have we told ourselves? I don't know about you. I've told myself a lot of stories about how I'm not enough, how I'm not deserving of having a good life, how I'm not deserving of a decent relationship, how I'm not deserving of being prosperous. I've told myself these stories until I got tired of them. How many of you are tired of telling yourself those stories? I'm tired of it. We don't need to tell those stories. Let's tell some better stories. Because love is divine givingness. And the law says yes. So if love is divine givingness, then what are the gifts I'm giving? What are the gifts I'm sharing with the world? What are the gifts I'm sharing with myself? It's like I like to end my day as I'm going to bed laughing. I've gotten into the habit of doing that. Boy, what a difference. a funny story, a joke, a laugh, a giggle with my partner. What a difference. What a difference. Allowing myself the gift that says, you know what, I can be happy. I get to be happy. And that's a choice I get to make. That's a choice we all get to make. And that's giving myself the gift of freedom, giving myself the gift of having a choice, of knowing that I do get to make a choice, of knowing that I do get to create a life that is better today, just a little bit, than it was yesterday. Because if I can shift my perspective, if I can shift my knowing 0.5% a day and do that on a daily basis, imagine compounding that over the course of a year. I can't do that math in my head, but it's a lot. How much better can I be if I choose to be just a little bit better, a little more loving, a little more caring, a little kinder with myself? Because when I do that with me, what happens to the rest of my relationships in the world? They get better too. Because what are the rest of the relationships in my life? What do we know them to be? We know them to be mirrors of us. All of my relationships in the world are mirrors of my relationship with me. Now I can look at that. Now it's like we get to choose how we look at that too. I was in a conversation with somebody yesterday, with a group yesterday, and I said, all these relationships in the world, there are mirrors, and we get to leverage those for our growth. We get to leverage all that mirroring in the world mirroring back to me the content of my own consciousness. I get to leverage that for my good. Because that's what it's all there for, ultimately, isn't it? I get to use that to learn and grow, to better myself. And as I better myself, I better my experience of the rest of the world. And I begin to clear the path for others as well. The writer of the book, Love Unveiled, A.H. Almas, says this. He says, now we can see that the development of the soul is nothing but the rending of the veils that separate you from the beloved. The development of the soul is nothing but the rending of the veil that separates you from the beloved. Tearing all that apart. Letting go of all the fear, all the pain, all the doubt. We built up the veil, and we can take it apart, thread by thread, piece by piece. So we get to the point where I am loving me. I am loving me and I am loving you. Caring, learning, growing, all of it. Remembering that it's cosmos, divine order, not chaos. Although chaos is part of the equation sometimes. We get to stir things up, man. But divine order always comes out on top. But we have to go through a little bit of chaos sometimes to find that new order. We take it apart and put it back together. We take it apart, put it back together. I know so much has happened in my life. So many things have happened on my journey where I thought, oh my goodness, what have I done now? Anybody else? I know, I'm not alone. We all do it. We forget and then we remember. I can remember especially times when I was in ministerial school sitting with study partners or study groups, and we're throwing our hands up going, What? What is going on? I thought this was supposed to make things better and learning and growing and da, 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 da. And my life is falling apart. What the heck is going on? We're letting go. Sometimes setting aside what no longer serves us looks like chaos. Sometimes letting go of the things that just don't fit in the way my new life is, that just don't fit in the becoming phase of what I'm doing, we get to let those go. And the degree of chaos that ensues in that process is directly equivalent to the amount of attachment I have to what that is. Do y'all follow that one? The more we hold on, the more painful the process will be. So let it go. So let it go. Sometimes being my own best friend, which is my title I just got reminded of when I looked over there. Sometimes being my own best friend means telling the hard truth. Sometimes being my own best friend looks like saying, you know what? Take the day off, take a bath, go play golf, burn some of that PTO that you've been holding on to in case of an emergency. Sometimes I am as important as that emergency could be. Sometimes filling my own cup so that when I'm giving from the saucer and not from the cup is the best thing I can do for me and everybody else. Sometimes being my own best friend is reminding myself that I'm worthwhile, that I am enough, that the goodness and truth and beauty that I ascribe to whatever divinity I believe this life is, whatever divinity I believe this world, this universe is created from, remembering and reminding myself that that is what I am made of. And that is what is seeking to express itself through me. That divine love, light, life, peace, power, beauty, joy, health, wholeness, prosperity, all of that is seeking and expression through me, as me, in each and every moment. And the best, most friendly thing I can do for me, being my own best friend, is reminding me that yes, all of that is what I am. And all of that is what is seeking expression through each and every person in my world. And to embrace that in me is to embrace that in everyone else as well. That is love. Love as the givingness of spirit. Love as spontaneity, and love being the way that we seek to live. Love being the way of life that we seek to embrace in a deeper, more expansive way each and every day. So, your turn. Thoughts, questions, contemplations.
I think I heard you say something about getting rid of PTO, and I missed what PTO.
Oh, paid time off. Vacation time, PTO. Yeah. Yeah. I tend to save it for, unnecessarily. Yes, Diane.
I had a quick revelation that I'm really good at unconditional love when it comes to pets and animals. And all the people in my life, I sometimes find myself in my head about. And I don't need to be in my head, I need to be in my heart. That was such a revelation
Mm.
that it's so easy to do for pets and animals, but not. So I'm hoping to remind myself when I catch myself coming from someone that I really love, I'm in my head about. That's crazy.
Mhm. All right, thank you. Anybody else? Thank you, Diane. Victoria.
Yeah. Now that I'm in my 8th decade of living, ninth? No. Okay. Anyway, thank you. Thank you for that. I've taken you off my love list right now. um, when I was younger, and the first person that you loved, you were just so in love, and you're 16 years old, and then they don't love you. And I've learned now all these years, I used to think there were different types of love for your children, love for your mate, love for your pet. And I'm really finding that the love is the same feeling. It's this unconditional feeling of caring for someone else, of respecting and seeing someone else, or your pet, or whatever. And I also found that I was married for 35 years and I left my husband. Didn't mean I didn't love him, because I still do, even though he's passed away. It was that I could no longer live with him, but I still loved him. I still cared what happened to him. I still respected all the qualities that he had. So I think now that I've had all these experiences over my life, I see the commonality of love, and that it stays forever, even if that person doesn't love you back. If your best friend does something and you no longer can be friends, you no longer can do things together, but you still love her because you see that perfection in that person and the perfection in the relationship, and what that person in that situation caused you to grow. So,
Great, thank you. Anybody else? Okay then. Oh,
I have a question
sure.
about the cup and the saucer. Can you explain that?
The cup and the saucer. Okay, I'll explain the cup and the saucer. So, what's that? Okay, so the cup and the saucer. So, it's very much about this whole self-care metaphor. So, the cup and the saucer is like, we have this cup, right, where we're giving and we're giving and we give from this cup. We're taking care of others, taking care of friends, taking care of family, giving here, giving there, giving there, giving everywhere. But if we don't pause to take care of ourselves, then eventually that cup becomes depleted, right? So there is a school of thought that says we take care of ourselves to such a degree that that cup overflows and it overflows into the saucer. So that we care to ourselves to such a degree that we're not giving necessarily from the cup anymore, we're giving from the overflow. We're giving from the saucer. And we keep that cup full so that we don't deplete ourselves. Okay? So that is, thank you, good question. Thank you. That is the metaphor. So anybody else real quickly? No? Okay. Great. Practicing the principles. This week, let's commit to living more from our foundation of love. Let's live with this one question. What would love do here and now? So in the face of whatever challenge, whatever situation, whatever question, whatever choice we have, let's pause and ask the question, what would love do here? What would love do here and now in the face of whatever it is? Okay? So that is the practice this week.